What's up? What's up? What's up? How's it going, Zach? You doing good?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay, there you go. I thought I didn't mute me by accident. Well, we got some folks in the house. Let's see who we got. Jason Edwards, what's up, man? From man, I'm bad. NWA. Where's NWA? Help me out here. Northwest. Where's NWA? Do you know? Help me out, Jason.
Atlanta? Northwest Atlanta?
Is that what that is? Maybe that's what that is. It's somewhere. It's somewhere. Well, glad you. Northwest Arkansas. Okay. Right on.
Okay, there you go.
Then we got, let's see, we got, what's up? Sin Fritz is in the house. I haven't seen you in a minute, man. How's the streaming been going for you? For sure. Of course, my kids are in here. AJT Comics, what's up, man? Christopher Nutter. I'm going to share a little something he's got me going on, a challenge we're doing. Michael McNally, how's it going, man? Ryan, how's it been, man? Let's see. Melanie. Yeah. So I don't know if you heard, but I got this dress because, I also resell, outside of games and stuff. And this like vintage Victorian dress or something. I got it for $25 and I put it up for auction. The thing I was not expecting. We weren't sure how it would go. The thing ended up selling for $308, which is wild. So that was super cool. Sticky Bricks. If you guys haven't checked out Sticky Bricks, go check out his YouTube. Put up your YouTube in the chat if you want to, man. And I'm actually going to, I think I might need to reassign some people some blue wrenches. But if you guys get a chance to check him out, his channel's growing a lot, and he does a bunch of like stop motion. Rushmore Show. What's up, guys? Are you both on here? Is it just Kirk? Who is it? Who's on here? And see if I missed anybody. I don't think I missed anybody. Sega Steve, what's up, man? I did. I actually messaged you back on the YouTube comment and told you I gave you my email. And so that's what I'm just going to put up the email here really quick, man. And if you'll just email me here and then just send me your number there. So I see you got some folks in here too, right, man? I think you got some people in the chat here as well.
I do?
I think so, but because I haven't seen Landon's Sons in here before. Do you know who that is?
No, that doesn't.
Oh, well, I'm glad you're here, man. So it said Diddy's Retro Revive is here. So glad you're here. I haven't seen you in the chat yet. So let's see. It says, are those game shelves 2x4s? He's talking about your shelves.
2x4s, yep. Well, the uprights are 2x6s, and then these are 2x4s.
So you build all those yourself, right?
Yeah, yep. I use pocket screws and everything to try and hide them as much as possible, and then I painted everything black.
Wow. Yeah,
that probably took the most time.
You got a lot of them too, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put up the link to the Dylan's Rolling Retros. So you're near him, right?
Yeah, I'm about just 2 cities over from Dylan.
Okay, because I saw that video. I was like, oh man, you got a huge collection. I told him you were going to be on, but he's been stupid busy. So he said he's going to try to come in.
He's got a lot of personal stuff. I think he's trying to get a new vehicle.
That's right. Well, he just got a new vehicle.
Yeah. But that just took a lot of his time. He hadn't been putting up very many videos, and I did on my small YouTube channel, I did a kind of a before and after, because these shelves behind me are actually new, and so I did a
okay.
So if you guys want to check out that's something that you can go to and check out. It won't be as in depth as Rolling Retros, because we talked over each system and kind of my like.
It was like an hour or something.
Yeah, over like hour and 15 or something like that.
I see someone in Flipper Dude. I don't know if I missed a message or if he just wasn't sure if he could come on. Here he goes. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I'm about to bring someone on to come join us in the chat. You because Steve's usually on with me, so I'm about to bring him on.
Yeah, that's fine.
And so I'm gonna do that. If I'm gonna send that to him. Hey, just letting you know, Steve, I am sending this invite to your Instagram just because I'm on the computer. There we go. And so we'll have somebody else coming in just a second, guys. I got to go send it to him. I never got the message from him, or I didn't see it until now. So now I feel kind of bad. I wasn't sure if he could come on or not. But I'm going to send it to him really quick. And we're just kind of chatting right now, guys. So I know I'm a little all over the place. But we're gonna get into this in just a second. I got to send this to him, and then we'll have our third guy on here. I'm also, man, since I started using the headphones and everything's so like silent, I always feel so weird because I'm so used to hearing noise in the background and stuff. So, all right, I just sent it to him. So he should probably be joining us pretty soon. Oh, Reseller Madness, what's up, man? How's it going? Reseller Madness, how's it been, man? Bowman, did you leave Michael K? Michael K's streaming right now, so. Bell Resells, good to have you in. Thanks for coming in. He said, whoa, more than one friend. Well, guys, I'm go ahead and get started. For those that are new to coming in here and those that have been here, if you don't know me, I do resell and collect video games, but and I do other stuff as well. I resell other things. But what's most important to me is my faith in Jesus, and so I always want put him first and share my faith. And the fact is, I believe that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and that no man comes to the Father except through him. And the fact is we've all sinned, we've all come short of the glory of God, we've all failed. A lot of Hey, did I get cut out?
I think you did, yeah. It went silent for me.
Yeah, it just went completely silent. I was still seeing stuff, but it just went completely silent. But with that being said, I don't know what the last thing that was heard, but what matters most with that is, if I was to look at someone else and see that they treated me with the way that I think, well, we're all humans. A lot of times we'll judge others. The fact is we've all failed. And if we just, then that's the whole reason Christ came, was to die for our sins, that we could be forgiven. And that's the hope message that I want to give people, that your sins can be forgiven. But first of all, we have to realize we need a savior. But if that's where you're at, you want to know Jesus, then it's I always say it's not easy, but it's simple. It's simple, but not easy. It's hard to put your faith in something, someone you can't see, right in front of you. And it's hard to believe. Some of us would say it's hard to believe that we could even be forgiven. I meet some people that would say, I'm not good, but he can forgive the one who thinks they're the best to the one who thinks they're the worst. And so that's the message I want to give. And Steve is on with us now. So here we go. What's up, man?
So, how's it going? What's going on, man?
Like he's on. Going on. This is Zach. You haven't met Zach yet. This is I've started to know him online.
How's it going?
Well, let me share a little bit, guys. You guys know that flipper dude who's on the bottom here, Steve. He's always on with me, and he's giving me good deals on sales. Hopefully, I'll get another one pretty soon.
Very soon.
Well, in a few months. Yeah, I talked to my wife. She's good with it. But I found Zach. If you ever see in here Z Squared Gaming in the chat, or on if you see him in anywhere else, or if you've seen his channel, and we're going to link up his channel here in a minute. But how I found out about him was through my friend Dylan, Rolling Retro. He did a a video. It was like an hour-long video of his. As you can see in the background right there, that's like a little bit of his collection, and he's going to talk about it. But when I saw that, it was like what I think the video said, what 7,200. Is that what it is? I put it up there, or was it
at the time? Yeah, at the
7,200 at the time.
What?
So
I think that was early in March or May, somewhere around in there, that he actually did that, and then so that was essentially the beginning of the summer season. So I added quite a few. I think I'm up to 7,700 now at the.
Wow!
Goodness gracious! Wow. So
how many consoles have you completed?
Well, as far as systems, I have not completed any. I am kind of focusing on the original Xbox at this point, but I'm at 71%, I believe, of that collection. So, and then the closest one after that, I believe, if I remember correctly, is the Wii, which is at like 59%, I think.
Wow, man!
The Wii.
The Wii.
Wow, that's huge. Wow. Yeah. So that's how I found out, and I saw him, and so I just added him. And the funny thing, man, I wasn't catching it because I'm scatterbrained, and I try to like connect with everybody. And I would see you come in, and I'm like, where do I know? Because I've seen your name, and I was like, where do I know him? So if I finally clicked, and I said, oh, that's who it is. And so I was really excited, and so every time I saw you, I knew who you were after that. And I was just I was like, why do I know the name? And so I was like, I was trying to think of who should I have on, and what was it like? I reached out to you. What was it, man? Just yesterday or Saturday? When did I reach out? Okay. And so I was like, well, let's have him on. But before you say anything, I want to just I missed a few things on here because I miss things all the time. So I need to make sure. He said, I left him to bully you. That's what Bowman said. He left Michael K's stream. He's streaming Burning Rangers on the Saturn. And he if you get the chance to check out Michael K, guys, he's great. Let's see. There's something I saw here. Jason said to check out. Oh, Slimzy Parfait, what's up, dude? How's it going? Slimzy is a great dude. If you guys aren't on Kriski's Discord, you should get on there and meet Slimzy. I told him he needs to do a YouTube. So yeah. He said, Reseller Man said someone in the audience is only half saved now because the thing went out. Jason, that's good. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like they said. If your brain is logical like mine, I can recommend evidence that demands a verdict as a source to help open some closed doors. Absolutely. Some apologetics and evidence. Reseller Madness recommended one as well, which is Case for the Creator, Case for Faith. Those are also good ones if you're just wanting to see it from a historical, logical perspective of faith. And let's see. Hey, look who's in, man. Rolling Retro's in the house. So, guys, I don't know if any of you are into pinball, but if you can put up, if somebody can put up, oh, you already put it up there, Melanie. Melanie put up Rolling Retro's channel. He has a new video, and it was very, very good about pinball. And I'll be honest, I think pinball's cool, but it's one of those things I see in a store, I see at an arcade, or see at a convention. It's kind of neat. But his video was very, very good about how he showed the history of it and why it's a lot more complex than it really is. So than what a lot of people think it is. It kind of, I was like, man, if I had the, I don't have the money to go buy new stuff like that.
I love pinball, man. They have the movie about it is on Netflix, I think.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it's actually really cool, really interesting movie, and really well made. Very, very cool movie.
You'll have to show it to me. Easy Gamers, what's going on? Merry Christmas, everyone. Thank you, man. You too. Well, all right. Well, I'm gonna go ahead. Go ahead, Zach. You have the floor. Go ahead and share a little bit about, kind of maybe from 72 to 70. What is it? Up to 7,800 now. Share how you got on YouTube, collecting all that stuff, man. Go ahead.
So I may jump around a little bit, but
for sure.
coming up into my mind here. So I've been collecting for, I've been a gamer my whole life, essentially, but I've been actively collecting for over 7 years now. I think it's like 7.5 years.
Okay.
I only hit thrift stores, garage sales, Facebook, OfferUp. I don't buy anything off of eBay because I like to, really for me, it's the thrill of the hunt.
And you have that many games?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. I had, I think maybe in one system, I think the most that I had was maybe 30 games from my childhood. So it's been quite a fun kind of journey.
Yeah.
I'm one thing that's really helpful is that I'm single and I own my own house. So
Oh, wow. Okay.
A lot of my friends free. And so that's where I go out and thrift. I also, as far as like thrift stores and garage sales, I do pick up stuff that I can flip on eBay.
Yeah.
So I do have a store on eBay. So I get those funds to essentially further my collection along type of thing. It's
that's
kind
wild.
Of
Yeah. Look, I'm learning because that's from nothing to that was last November, and so I'm there now, and I had literally nothing last November.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you're also going for a pretty hard as far as like the Saturn. Is that what's
the Saturn? Yeah.
So those are not only harder to get, but they're also more expensive. Where what I go for is stuff that I just find out in the wild. So if I can have my collection, then of course I do. And if I get maybe a lot of stuff, I will sell my doubles. I'll of course upgrade, do upgrades for my condition of my collection. Add manuals when I need them, type of thing. And then unfortunately there's variants out there too. So sometimes I'll go to check the condition and there's a different kind of disc.
There's
so
Mario Bros. Left Bros. Mario Bros. Left Bros.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let me ask you something because because we have a lot of like Steve's a reseller, and he's a reseller of all sorts of things as well. And one of the things that people that are my friends, so I'm not like, oh, well, they're wrong and I disagree with them and they're stupid. I'm not saying that because some people take that. But I see a lot of times, I've seen a lot of people say, and I want to hear it from your opinion. And oh, by the way, Roland Retro said, tell Zach he's a reseller scum for me. So,
but I have a computer up, but it's very much behind from what we're talking about. So I see like the old stuff in the comments. So
yeah.
Well,
funny. So I'm trying to go through and highlight them. Well, speaking of that, so I've heard a lot. People say, now I am a reseller, but I'm also a collector. But I've heard a lot of people say, I can't, and I'm sure every town's different. I do get that. Some places are very competitive. But I've heard a lot of people say, I can't find anything because the resellers have ruined it for me. And so my experience is that's to me, that's just saying you're not really trying. You're just expecting it to fall in your lap.
Right.
And so because I find stuff all the time, and we have resellers. I find stuff from resellers all the time. And, obviously I'm not getting it at 10%, but I've bought stuff from resellers 50 to 70% for collection. So I bought stuff for low. In fact, Rolling Retro, I did a video, my last video last week. He's the one I bought a bunch of games from, and I bought them all at 65%. Yep. And so, and I kept a few of them, put them in the collection, and sold some others, and I still have a good amount of them. But so for me, that just seems like just something. I don't know. I don't understand how people don't find it, because I find people that aren't resellers, that aren't even game collectors, that just think it's neat. They find old games, and they find them all the time. And then they'll come to me and say, hey, I found this. Don't you look for this? An older lady that knows nothing about video games went into the library, and she called me up the next day and said, hey, don't you look for video games? Because I met her at a garage sale. And I said, yeah. And it wasn't anything crazy, but it was Wii U. What is it? Is a Wii U Planes Fire Rescue, which is like a pretty hard one to find. And she found it in the library. And it was a lady that knows nothing about video games. So to me, that just seems like an excuse. And I wanted to hear your opinion on that. Rural Squirrel, what's up? What's up? Good to see you. Glad you're here.
Yeah, I would have to say that it is kind of an excuse. It's kind of a crutch.
And Ryan, I meant to say hey as well. Good to have you. Just keep going. I'm just going to say hey every now and then.
No, that's fine. So for me, it's just getting out there, going to garage sales. That's, I think, the biggest thing. That's where you find the best deals. And of course, you're going to get people that are going to be, oh, well, he buys it for so much cheaper. But, I really try to help out the person who's selling the items. I tell them what I do. I'm completely honest with them.
I'm the same way. And,
so a lot of times I will give them an offer more than what they were expecting. So,
yeah, I'm the same way, man. I'm the exact same way.
Yeah. So for me, if I find like a system and then a few games, $40 just across the board, depending on the system, of course.
Yeah.
Because especially at garage sales, you have no clue what the condition of those systems
Absolutely.
are. You don't know if they're going to be broken or missing cords, which of course with us being collectors and resellers, we'll have those extra cords.
Tons of, but still,
exactly. So you always have that chance. You ask them, have you played it recently? Has it been on recently?
Yeah.
And they, of course, they want to get rid of it, so they'll say yes, and you don't always know.
That's right.
Or not. So it's always a gamble in regards to that. If it's kind of a more sought after system, of course, offer more. Sometimes people, look up on their phone real quick and try to find, but they're just trying to, go through and get the sale itself. So it's kind of hit and miss as far as that goes. But I would say majority, especially of my finds the last 2 years, have been on asking for games. They weren't out at the sale, so I asked them for
Same here.
One big thing that people will do, not me, is they'll just ask, do you have any video games? And the person will say yes or no. And then they'll just, if they say no, they just leave. Now for me, I will list out the systems.
I'm the same way.
Nintendo, PlayStation, Sega. Sometimes I throw out TurboGrafx, but of course you never get anybody with TurboGrafx.
Hey, I got one from a garage sale. I got a complete in box. I got Devil's Crush. I got Devil all complete with the cardboard. Devil's Crush, Bonks, Legendary Axe 1 and 2. But yeah, you're right. It was that's because he had stuff from childhood, and I went later. He brought me back to the house, and I paid up for it for sure. So.
Oh yeah. See, that's one of those that I would offer at least depending on how many games there are, at least 100 or more than that.
Yeah.
But so that's as far as finding stuff. You just have to be persistent and consistent.
That's right.
Type of thing. And so if you can, go out every weekend. I will sometimes even go the same route, but I'll find new garage sales and I'll ask. And there's one just last year that I walked up. They had one of those updated Atari systems. It's kind of like more of a plug and play. It may might have had like 30 or 50 or 100 games on it type of thing. And I said, I see that you have this. Do you by chance have any old video games, like the Atari, but the originals? And they said, the woman looked right at me and she pointed at me and she goes, I have just the box for you.
Oh,
and here it was 2 Super Nintendos. They were of course yellowed and dirty and everything.
Sure.
Then she had 7 or 8 complete in box Super Nintendo games.
Wow.
And I think maybe 1 or 2 loose ones. She had a shoebox full of Atari games, and so she kind of knew what she had in regards to that. So we kind of had to haggle a little back and forth, but just stuff like that. I wouldn't have ever, of course, gotten that if I hadn't asked for it. So that's where asking is big thing.
Well, let me read some of these to kind of go along, because I know we talked a little bit about this. Easy Gamers was saying some of it depends on where you live, and I do believe that's probably true. He says it's less common in the Midwest, east edges of the water first. He said the wave is coming, just hasn't fully hit there yet. And then Jason Edwards said, do you find more populated areas have more results, or have you had luck in lower population towns? And you know what's funny is, because of the competition, I've actually been able to find more solid stuff. Like I found stuff in Houston. I found stuff in Dallas. I found stuff in, whenever I'm going out of town, or Monroe on the way to Texas. And I've found stuff, and I do believe it's probably competitive, but I also believe because of that, there's so much out there, and there's a higher chance of getting stuff. Now, in a small town, they're not doing that type of stuff. And so, and of course Jackson isn't small where I live, but it's smaller than like where Houston, where you're at, man. So, and I don't know exactly where you're at, but Zach, but it's, I would say it really just depends. What he said for you guys that are looking, this is anything. I don't care if you're looking for sneakers, if you're looking for vintage trains, like model trains. The specific is very important, because I've had over and over again where people tell me they don't have video games, and I say, do you remember the Game Boy? Did you ever have one of those? And they're like, well, now that I'm thinking about it, I think I might have a Game Boy. And so then I'll just explain that, and exactly what he said is right. But so how did you get to so all that 7,200 games is, you got that all from hunting in the wild?
Yep, pretty much.
That's wild, man. Landon said lower population towns are better for me.
Yeah. And I was going to get to that too. As far as myself, I am, and of course, Rolling Retro, we mentioned this earlier. We are located in Minnesota. So
okay, that's right. Yeah, I knew it was up north.
Yeah, we have winter season, throughout, I don't know, what is
the entire year.
Yeah, pretty much. But so as far as garage sales, it's essentially like, what is it, late April, early May to October, early November.
That's kind of how ours is, yeah.
So it's of course like half the year, but for me, I do go kind of in the more rural areas.
That's what Landon's son said.
Yeah, we're located, both Rolling Retro and myself and Dylan. We're kind of north of the Twin Cities in Minnesota. So we're in kind of a northern suburb. And so I typically will go north when I go hunting. And because I just know that there's more competitions further south. Of course, I'll be looking for posts on Facebook Marketplace and all that kind of stuff for stuff going south. But it's on the rare occasion that I'll essentially go south for my route on the weekends type of thing.
Yeah.
So I kind of go honestly towards Dylan for my start. I go kind of north and east, and then kind of cut over north of where I am, and then kind of go west quite a while. So I'll sometimes hit 150 miles in a day.
Wow.
Ooh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm starting at 7-8 o'clock in the morning, getting home at 5 or 6.
Wow, so you're even going out later in the day. Well, I mean, it shows for it. Do you do any reselling just to have side money, just for other stuff other than games, or is it mostly just to fund the hobby?
It's mostly the hobby. I have a normal 9-to-5 job type of thing, so that's for life. But this is all kind of my side hustle, is what I call it, or hobby.
Sure, yeah. Hey, that's cool, man.
I pick up actually mainly sealed electronics. That's, I think, what I probably have gotten the most money off of garage sales and such.
Steve, you've done stuff with that, right?
What's that?
Haven't you done like vintage electronics or sealed electronics?
Or
I thought you did for some reason.
I've done a little bit of that. Yeah, dabbled in it. I'm starting to get a little gun shy with it, man. I get tired of hearing that it's not working when I tested it before it left and it worked fine.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where I pick up the sealed stuff, so that I know it's never been open type of thing.
Yeah.
So I know for sure that it's going to work, or at least it should work.
Well, so that happened to me once. So I had a guy that, and of course he could have been blowing smoke up my rear. I don't know, but I had a guy that bought a, I can't remember what it was. It was an old Walkman, or maybe it's an old CD, like a Walkman CD player. I forget what they were, but either way, he said he didn't have that one, and he collected vintage electronics. He was real nice. He seemed real honest, but I was like, why did you buy a sealed one? Because it's way more expensive. And he said because he really thought it would work, but he said he opened it up and it was, he said what it was. I guess something had like gone dry rotted inside, or I don't remember what the exact words were. He sounded very honest. He showed me, and he said he opened it, but I guess that can happen. But what he did say, he goes, well, man, if you want to return it, I totally understand. He goes, but he said, I fix these all the time. He said, I'll still pay. And it was still a good amount he was willing to pay. And I only paid $1 for it anyways. It was like $100-something. And I paid for $1 for it at a thrift store. And I had no idea what it was worth. I just thought it was cool. And then I still made like $60 off of it. So I wasn't too, if he was lying, whatever, I wasn't going to fight it too much. Easy Gamer, go ahead.
I just sold a Christmas tree topper that apparently was fairly desirable. It's about $70 Christmas tree topper that the reindeer and Santa spin around. It's a lighthouse. Oh, wow. It's a lighthouse, and they go around him, and the light spins. I tested it. I videoed it for the post on eBay and everything, and they got it, and they said, "Man, the light's not working." I was like, But 9 times out of 10, when it's something like that, and it was the only one on eBay, so apparently they're kind of hard to find. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to send it back because they don't want to not have it.
Right. That's right.
I mean, he wanted it on his Christmas tree, I mean.
Yeah, and that's sometimes, if you just say, I'll, do the return, sometimes people are just hoping they can get it for free.
Yeah.
And you say, do the return, they won't do it. And then it's
he didn't.
Okay. Well,
he didn't send it back.
Yeah. That happens. I do know people try to scam with that. But I also know I could have made a mistake or something could have happened in the process. I mean, especially with old stuff, like we had something where the plug, everything was working fine. And then when I was getting ready to package it, the plug right at the connector came loose. Yeah, so the copper was all shredded, and I went, no. So I tested. I was like, I'm not sending it like this. So I tested it, and it was, shorting in and out. It's like, oh. So I tried fixing it with a little bit that I knew, and we ended up just buying another one we found on an auction for pretty cheap. And we swapped it out, but I was so aggravated. I was like, my goodness. Because that woman she was like, man, this was something it was like a memory with her dad who had passed away recently. And so I was like, oh, she has to have this. I can't.
Yeah.
Easy Gamer said, that's another thing you told me one time. I remember this. He said, don't tell anyone about the honey pot. What happens when everyone knows values? Now that is true. I probably am like, oh yeah, just do this if you want to get it. So there's a part where I want to help like people. One, I want to help people because I resell, and I want to help people know that this is a way to make money. I also want to help collectors know how to find stuff. But there are some places that nobody knows about, and I will not tell it because then because they're not going to get it, I'm not going to get it, nobody's going to get it. And I've seen it where when it does come out in the open, it's over after that. Like there's this place here called Gateway, and all the vintage people used to go there, and they would dig in these big gaylords, or whatever. I think that's what they're called. And they would just dig, and they would find like crazy, like old Charles Barkley, all over, and Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls, and all this crazy stuff. And then what happened? All the vintage, then all these new people that were trying to be cool and hip, they started going in, and they never had that anymore. So, and this one, I forgot to say something about this. Rural Squirrel said, "Did you guys see the vintage Atari score that Thrifter Sifter found?" I did not, but that's pretty cool. I didn't see that.
Well, I was going to put my 2 cents in about that. When the people who say that they're struggling to find stuff because the competition is too stiff, I find that a lot of the times that person is the person who's not. They're only learning just enough to get started reselling. Yeah. They're not diving in and learning, all the ins and outs of different categories and stuff.
That's right.
When they go in there, they're looking for one specific area or something like that, and they can't find it, and then they're frustrated.
That's right.
I mean, I can walk into our local Goodwill. I can see, you can pick out resellers nowadays.
Oh yeah, you sure can.
I'll see 10, 12 people looking at their phones and doing whatever, and they're not finding anything. Yep, and I'll walk out of there with a whole basket full of stuff.
I'm the same.
I don't know what y'all are looking at, man.
Dude, look. Okay, so I went into. I don't know if you know the brand Comme des Garçons. It's like a really high end brand. It has you probably some kids wear the Converse, and it's like a heart with 2 eyes on it. And well, I went into the Teen Challenge, which I go all the time. I literally just walk. That's what I do. I kind of go in. I go pretty fast, and I find stuff. And I used to. You're right. When I first started, I know they say comp everything. I don't really do that much anymore because I know what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
And also, for like games, you can kind of know, okay, am I spending too much? Or and games are also fast movers, so it's a little bit different. Margins aren't as big of a deal for me on that, but like I saw that shirt and I just picked it right up. The polo, the camo, I bought those polo camos. I paid $7. They sold for $240. I saw these camos and I saw like paint on them and ducks. I was like, okay, that's weird. And so I went up because I just knew what I was looking for. And when I saw that they were Ralph Lauren, I was like, okay, these look like some kind of vintage rare pair of pants. And I did look it up, but I was like, $7. I know these are going to be good.
Oh yeah.
But then I looked it up, and some of them were selling for like $300. But I just was like, I don't need that. I'll take it and move it, get that money moving. But
yeah, I tend to take chances. I tend to take chances a lot more these days. I'm like Froggy Flips. If I think it looks cool, I'll probably gonna buy it.
I'm the same way. So Sega Steve said 30 years ago I had energy, a lot of time on my hands, and no money, so I was always going to thrifts, garage sales, and flea markets. Now I have no time, energy, or patience, but I got money, so I prefer eBay. Yeah, and so all the TurboGrafx, because I was gonna collect some of those games. And I was like, I do want to eventually get into that. I never had a TurboGrafx 16, so it doesn't really have a place to me. So if I'm going to collect, I want it to, for me right now, at least, as I'm getting, because it costs. So as I'm getting into it, I want it to be something that's, first of all, just what I really like. So I've sold him. He's paid me good money, for TurboGrafx, but he's bought every TurboGrafx that I decided to sell, and it all went right back to Saturn. so it went all right back to that. But I'm not getting rid of my console just because it's in box, and it's just that's not gonna probably ever go. I used eBay to find cases or box art. Maybe if I had the money to get a grill, I wanted it, but hardly. Yeah. Grams and Pops Vintage. I haven't seen you come in yet, man. Thanks for coming in. What's up? How's it going? Girl Dad's here. That's I think that's Kirk. That's what I thought.
I'm a girl dad.
Yeah. I'm a girl dad as well, and I also have boys. But I guess is it girl dad just daughters? Or is it just me?
Yeah.
You have okay.
I would think he's talking about he's just got girls.
Yeah. Okay, so Easy Gamer says I feel like it has affected collectors harder than resellers. Oh, yeah. Talking about the I'm still a big believer. Like, I don't care if I still believe, even if, like you, Zach, you're a prime example. You don't resell for profit. resell for a business. You don't resell for that, from what you were saying, right? I mean, I'm correct to say that, right?
Yeah. It's all the funds that I get from reselling go right back into the collection, so I just use it for my next buy.
And so that's the point I'm saying is like, I won't, I try to, tell sometimes, because most of the people I talk to, they get that, but there are people that are like, no, I'm not doing that. But I try to say, no, I don't think you understand. Like, you don't have to do this and go, feel, like me, like, oh, you should just go get a real job. You don't have to do that. Just go, and you don't even have to resell the stuff for top dollar. You can just resell it for a little bit more. And then you can, or pay more and get small margins, since you're just doing it for fun. And you could end up getting an entire collection for pretty cheap, just because and that's what I tried telling people. But I think I interrupted you in you were telling it. I interrupted you on how did you get your collection? And we that was the last thing, and then we went.
we kind of went off on a tangent, but that's totally fine. That's just where the conversation went. But
sure,
and that's really where I've been getting my whole collection is garage sales, thrift stores. Now, lately, probably within the last year or two, thrift stores have been harder to kind of source from as far as video games. Now, I still go, and that's where I pick up the items that I resell. So for me and Dylan, we have Goodwill, which unfortunately they have their own website that they do auctions on, so we don't hardly ever find anything there.
Very rare.
Dylan lives really close to a thrift store called Family Pathways.
Yep, he told me about that.
I live about less than a mile away from a different one, so that's kind of nice that we're not competing with each other there. But it seems like they have a lot less stuff, and I've asked the workers there because I'm there a lot of times.
Yeah,
and they say, well, people just aren't donating video games anymore. When I was asking type of thing.
That's not true with Goodwill. That's not true with Goodwill. That's what they say to me too. And
I have I've kind of looked. There's a what's it even called?
Dylan just said Family Pathways also pulls listings for online.
Yeah, I've heard that too. So, but there's essentially a pawn shop that has multiple. It's more of a kind of ma and pa type of thing. It's not like a major brand.
Yeah.
And so they have, I think it's like 6 or 7 locations sprawled kind of north of the Twin Cities here. So I do those quite a bit. So it's essentially a pawn shop. They price, like, every system has its own price essentially. So like the older stuff, which is kind of weird, like PlayStation 2, Xbox, and 360 are like either $4 or $6 no matter what it is. But then they will sometimes look up certain
I like that. I like it when it's like that.
And then they'll look up certain games, if they kind of, I think the workers will sometimes say, well, maybe, I've heard of this game, so maybe it's a little bit more expensive, so they'll look it up. They still market less than what is going for on the market. So you're still getting a deal, but it's not like crazy, like garage sale deals type.
Yeah. Well, that's the pawn shop that I found here was that way too. So there's 2 guys there. They're like co-owners. I don't know if they're brothers or uncle, and I don't know how it works, but one looks up listed prices and he marks so he's above market. Yeah. And then the other guy gets frustrated with that. And he says, I don't care. He's even said, I get this stuff so dirt cheap. If resellers would come in and buy it, I would gladly give it to him for 50% off. Yeah. He says it all the time. And so when I come in, and if he has anything that hasn't yet been priced by the other guy, he sells it to me for cheap. This lady comes in with a bunch of GameCube games. And thankfully, I'm there as she's doing it. And I said, hey, are you selling those? And he said, yeah, I'll sell them. And I said, how much? He said, $2 a piece. And I said, you sure? And he said, yeah. And I went, all right. So I paid. He said, look, I don't care what they're worth. He knows what I do. I already told him. And then One time I found in the box it was a Game Boy player, and I paid $10 for it. So actually, what happened, because I was challenged, it was Dragon Ball Z Saga on the GameCube, and then underneath it was, and I knew it. I'll just be honest, I knew it. It was the Game Boy player, and I was like, wow, I'm getting 2 games, and I wasn't thinking anything of it. And $10, and I was thinking maybe that's why he's doing, maybe, but I bought it. And I felt bad later, so I went back to him and I said, hey, I'm just letting you know this Game Boy player was in here. And I said, it's a valuable game. He said, dude, I don't care. And I said, okay, well, all right, I don't feel bad anymore. So
with that, so you got a game with, and then the Game Boy player disc was in with the game?
Yeah, it was underneath.
Yeah.
And the reason I hear
thing happened to me at a Goodwill.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
A Game Boy player, for real?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
It was just a disc. But the odd thing about it, though, is it was a GameCube game, but there was a manual, there was, the cover art, but the game inside was not the same game as the cover art and manual.
Man, that happens at Goodwill all the time.
So it was the wrong game, but then it also had the Game Boy disc player, the Game Boy disc in it, too.
Wow.
So it was just, of course, nothing was right, but it was still a great find, and I think I paid $3 for it because it was Goodwill, and they have that's what they had all their games at.
That's right. Yeah, it's like $3 or $4. Yeah, that's the reason, because somebody challenged me on it, because they, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, well, what if somebody else went in there and put it in there, and they were about to come back, and they were actually trying to steal. And so that's why I started now, whenever I see it, because I didn't think anything of it. I'm just thinking, oh, they don't pay. What I thought was they don't care because they're just, to them, they're not testing their games. They're just getting and putting a price on it. So that's how I looked at it. And I was like, oh, sweet, I'm getting a deal. But now I was thinking, I'm like, well, ultimately, there should be nothing like that anybody should feel guilty about doing that, as long as they're not the ones trying to sneak in a game. Yeah. But where I'm personally at, I started saying, well, I'm going to at least show them, hey, is it okay? This game's in here. It was in here when I got it. Do I still get the same price? And every time they'll tell me yes. Yeah. But I have had it to where they go, oh, my kid must have put that in there. I actually didn't want to sell that. And so I'm like, okay, well.
Oh, you're talking like at a garage sale.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Now, and that, and sometimes at a store, I rarely see it at a store, but like at a store, if I do it, because I'm thinking, what if there's somebody else in there and they were putting it in there and they were hoping they could sneak it out and get and so that's why I'm like, okay, I'll take that. But, it's, it is what it is. It's, but yeah, that you can find some good stuff if you just are looking. Somebody said, let's see. Oh, Rolling Retro said they have their own eBay store. That's the thrift store he's talking about.
Yeah.
In that point, it's pointless to sell on other platforms besides eBay. Sorry, this is Easy Gamers. Speaking of that, for resellers purposes, do you guys cross post, or do you find selling different items on different platforms? Steve, do you want to answer that?
I don't know that I can answer that because I do not cross post.
Okay. What about you, Zach? Do you cross post?
Well, I don't, but I do sell on Amazon. So when I'm out thrifting and garage sailing, the main thing that I'm looking for in regards to that is sealed board games.
Yeah.
And that's what I've heard.
That's kind of where I'm focusing for my Amazon reselling. I hardly found anything this whole summer in regards to that, but then like recently I sent out like 2 shipments to Amazon within the last week.
Wow. Are you doing video games on Amazon?
No, I'm gated still. I'm still so new to Amazon, and I'm ungated for other places. I think they kind of want to make sure that you're a good seller before they allow you to do video games type of thing. So I think back a while ago, I scanned I think it was a sports title on the PS2, and it actually allowed me to sell it, but I was like, I'm not even going to try.
You get like a whole $3 or something.
Right.
So
I used to sell on Amazon. It just got a little complicated for me, so I stopped doing it.
See, I've heard multiple things. The Slimsy Parfait that was on here earlier, or I think I'm pronouncing it wrong, but that's not as, that I'm tongue tied. I told him that I was thinking about, because I'm having a lot of locals starting to contact me now to sell to me, like people that go into the game stores and they get really good deals, or they'll buy stuff from people ahead of time. So then they come to me and just want to sell it fast. Yeah. So I'm not doing that, but they're doing that and they're wanting to sell to me. But they don't only get, they also do the marketplace like I do. But
right.
I was like, I'm thinking about doing a buy list, because I know people that do that, and in that way people can make more money.
Right. And
because I have, and even on eBay, because I sell stuff on eBay for pretty good. Like there's some things that I've compared the prices with other places, and I'll sell it above what other eBay people are selling it for, but it's the same as other platforms. Right. And what happens is a lot of people will look on Google and they'll shop from Google, and it will send them all kinds of links. And so they're getting the same price on Amazon and eBay. So I just try to go, where's that market at? Where's that price at? And so, anyways, I thought about doing that. Well, anyway, Slimsy said he does that. And he says it has increased his business so much, and it's made him do better. And he said immediately when he got on Amazon, he was immediately approved of almost everything. But that I don't know what it was. If it was just because he had so much that he was showing him he was selling, I don't know. But he said it was. He told me that I should do it. But Easy Gamers, I didn't answer it. Yeah, I forgot it. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. I do cross post. So for consoles, we especially Wii's and stuff, we cross post. In fact, I almost only put Wii's and stuff like that on Facebook.
Okay.
And because I do better, I do all my handhelds on eBay, and because I'm not on Amazon right now, but I do eBay and Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. I'll do stuff occasionally. But yeah, I definitely cross post on different platforms. When I did a lot of shoes, I had Grailed. I had everything on Grailed, Poshmark, and eBay. But really, the three things I use now, I don't really use Grailed anymore because there's people always trying to get like everything for dirt cheap, and I don't blame them. But I'm trying to make money off of it, So I do eBay, Poshmark, and I do all my clothes and shoes on Poshmark. But I cross list everything to eBay because eBay sells everything. Right. And sometimes I'll get a better price sometimes on Poshmark. But what's funny is, a lot of times I get a better price for clothes on eBay. And so I do it all. And then there was another one. He asked Mercari. I don't use Mercari. And the reason I don't is we got screwed on there a long time ago, where this lady hacked into our account and took money from us. And was buying from our account things, and somehow they hacked. We couldn't get into our account, and was getting stuff shipped to her. And so when we contacted Mercari, they said they're looking into it and did nothing to freeze the account. And so they kept buying. Yeah, we eventually got our money back, and but it was like, it wasn't crazy. It was like, I don't know, like $200 or something, but still, that's a lot. We eventually got it back, but they took like a month to finally get it done. And thankfully the lady wasn't really just, going haywire. But yeah, we were so mad, and we said we will never use them again.
Yeah.
So we thought that was so crappy. Goodwill has wised up. What's up, Bible Belt Pickers? How's it going, Caleb? All right, top four favorites. All right, here we got the Rushmore Show top four guy. All right, Go ahead. Top 4 favorite thrift shop finds? Who wants to go first?
I found a.
Did I freeze it? I think Steve.
Am I frozen?
I can hear
No,
you.
I think my screen's lagging.
I found a plush yellow pumpkin with black polka dots that was designed by a Japanese artist.
Oh yeah,
it's like a stuffed animal, and I paid like $3 for it. I think we sold it for 350 or something like that.
Oh wow!
I don't even know why I picked it up, dude. It was just interesting.
so Japanese plushes. There's a brand. I forget what the brand is, but Japanese plushes are very expensive, especially like the sleepy ones. They're very expensive because we've had some that like are different versions of it. Some of them I've seen them go up to like $500.
Yeah,
I gotta start looking at plushies more.
Yeah. There's so many though. That's the thing.
This just looked like a piece of like decoration for Thanksgiving or something.
Oh wow, wow!
But it was yellow with black polka dots. That was why it was different. I was like, "What is this?"
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You got 4. What are 3 more?
Ooh. Well, I had one of those days just recently where I saw a ton of resellers everywhere and looked up on top of one of the racks there, and there was a 70s vintage Jaguar skateboard sitting on the top of the rack, and I was like, everybody's just going to leave this sitting here, huh?
Wow.
It's like, it's probably $100 skateboard. It was just sitting there. I was like, all right.
See, that's wild to me that they wouldn't even think of like, what's up, guitar off the cuff? Thanks for coming in, man.
I don't know. 4 is tough, though. I can't think of that off the top of my head.
I could do a couple. And it's kind of hard for me to remember too, but as actually for personal use, I found a HomePod Mini at a good.
What is that?
A HomePod Mini. So it's a Apple Alexa.
Yeah.
A small softball size.
Yeah.
And they had it for, I think it was like $7 or $8, and they're like normally $100.
Yeah, nice.
Wow.
Brand new. So it didn't come with a charger, so I had to purchase that separately. Honestly, I'll actually grab it real quick. Goodwill. I found Othello, complete in box.
At Goodwill?
At Goodwill, yep.
Wow.
So the odd thing about it was that that was in my earlier collecting, and I hadn't seen a complete in box NES game for the longest time. That's crazy. And so I saw the spine of it, and I was like, man, that looks like I should know what it's for. And then I pull it out, and I was like, this is an NES game.
That's wild.
It's not very expensive, but
that's still wild at Goodwill.
At Goodwill, and so it didn't have any price tags on it, so I think it was like $3 or $5 or something like that. So.
It probably slipped through the cracks. They probably didn't mean to have it out there.
Yeah, well, it was in with the DVDs. It was in with the kids' DVDs.
Yeah,
they sometimes have a different section for the kids, and so that's one thing about thrifting too, is that don't always look for one particular section for what you're
exactly
for.
Yeah.
Look all over. Look in the DVDs. Look in the CDs for PS1 games. And
how many times have you heard somebody say they found a tiki mug in with the vases?
Right.
Oh yeah, they find stuff all the time. It's
Just recently, as far as reselling, I found a tech deck that was, I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 inches big. So it's the handheld tech decks, but it was really big. And I bought that for $4 or $5, and I sold it on eBay for like 44 or something like that.
Nice.
Wow.
Not crazy, but it was a nice.
That's still really good. I mean, that's like 10 times the amount.
Right.
Landon Sun said, found a Canon PowerShot camera for $13, sold for $185 a few days later.
Nice.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, there's
cameras too. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a bad. See, we always look for cameras too, and we found this really awesome Canon deal. I can't remember where. My wife always finds the really just neat items, and she was really good. Estate sales. She was really good with estate sales and really digging through stuff. And we sold those cameras, but somehow the box wasn't messed up, but the camera was. I don't know if he's telling the truth or not, but that was a huge bummer. He did return it, and that was a huge bummer. The thing was working fine; it just had a dent in it, and it didn't have it before. We could tell. We ended up kind of fixing it and putting it, back together. But he was really kind of shady about getting it and in the first place. So I don't know.
This was another thrift store find for $3.
Wow. Oh wow. I don't have that one right now, so I wish I could find that at I've never found GameCube at a thrift store, at any thrift store.
Me neither.
No, I found Wii U, PlayStation 2, 3. I have found PS1. I have found Sega Genesis. Let's see what else. I think I've never found Dreamcast. I found Super Nintendo and Game Boy. But
the same place that I got the F-Zero GX, I have throughout my 7 years, I've picked up 2 copies of NCAA Football 14 on the 360.
At a thrift store?
Yeah.
Wow. I've never seen that at a thrift store. Yeah. Not ever.
Yeah.
Twice. Wow. Yeah, that's actually really cool.
Store I've picked up 2 copies.
Wow. Yeah, that's actually really cool. The we found some pretty cool thrift finds. Like, I told you about the camo pants. That was probably the best one because that went from $8 to $240. Then we found, I found this was cool. It was a 1920s nurse's graduation cape from the 1920s. I found it for $2 and I sold it for $120 or $140. And it was just a really cool find. It was like a wool nurse's cape from the 1920s. Like it was something for like graduating, like a college nurse's cape. That was just really neat. I love finding that kind of stuff. I don't wear that. Obviously,
you bought it.
Do what?
It looked cool, so you bought it.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, I said, I know this has got to be worth something. So I took it home and I was like, there's no way. And I sold it. I think it was like 120. It was either 120 or 140. And then the talking about plushes. Yeah. So look for plushes because when we first started reselling, you know how you kind of get into it and you're like, oh, this sells, because there may be 1 or 2 items that are valuable in the whole scheme of things with that. So we were getting really into buying Squishmallows.
Yeah.
And so we bought them over and over again. And half of them or 90% of them were just like, we made $1 off of, and so we bought one though. And so what we did is we were like, okay, these aren't worth anything. So we had a whole bunch we hadn't looked up yet. And so we ended up putting like 20 of them on Facebook. And we were like, yeah, we'll just sell the whole thing for $20. So no, it's actually good. It's actually good. A lady messaged us and said, I will pay you $20 for that chicken alone. And I was like, okay, let me look this up. So we looked it up. It was $150 plush. It was the chicken squishmallow. And I was like, there's no way. So we sold ours for like $130. We were like, yeah, I think we're going to keep this stuff. I felt bad, but I was like, I'm not throwing this thing away. This thing's worth money. I had no clue. And what she should have done is just said, I'll buy it all for $20. But no, she said, like, it's,
be careful what you ask for.
Yeah, I know. It's, but here's the deal. Let me say this. If I would have sold it for $20 and they made $150 off of me, you know what I would have said? I would have said, good for you.
Yeah.
Because I should have paid attention. I mean, literally, and I've sold some stuff to people knowing that I'm just ready. It's not working for me, and they're better at that. You can have it, man, for cheap. I did because a lot of my GI Joes wouldn't sell, so I've sold stuff for dirt cheap to some GI Joe people. Somebody said, let's see, where are we at? I just saw this. Rule of Rose, less than $1. It was in a CD. Rule of Rose, less than $1.
Yeah.
Wow, it was in a CD case, like for a car, with about 24 other PS2 games that were uncommon. 25 games, bought the whole case. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, Mascheroni, what's up, man? This is an old friend of mine. He used to do vocals for my old metal band back in the day. So he was part of our Bible study when we were first starting. So he's off in another state now. Y'all find amazing stuff. I found a book titled IRS Taxes and the Beast: How to Survive IRS New Age Audit Invasion. Is that a real book, or is he just saying he's tired of the IRS? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is he just making an IRS talking about the IRS is the beast? Or is it an actual book that's worth some money?
To me, that almost sounds like a book, but
it does kind of sound like. Let's see. Hey, man. Hey, I'm glad you guys are here. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'll be on the Rushmore show. I haven't set the date yet. I'm waiting. Okay. I feel so sorry for these guys because Steve knows I'm so scatterbrained, man. I used to say no, I'm not, and I would get people frustrated so much. I've accepted it, man. I'm so hard at it's so hard for me to focus, and I try to work on it. I don't just accept it and say, oh, well, get over it, but I get it, man. So, but anyways, I'm going to be on there in January. I'm just trying to get the exact date. I'm waiting on the exact date for when because I'm going to Thailand next month. And so I just don't remember the exact day. So, but I'll be on their show. I saw it at home with my wife looking at yard sale pictures on Facebook Marketplace. It was on a Sunday and the lady was packing up. I noticed it in the picture because of the artwork. That's wild, man. Yeah, Michael K. Guys, check out Michael K. Michael K is in the house.
So that is a real book.
Oh, it is. Okay, so I haven't gotten down there yet. Michael K is a Saturn guy as well, guys. So he's actually he's been streaming Burning Rangers. So I'm actually about to here's so when you guys get a chance, I'm gonna share it on here. This is his actual Burning Rangers link where he did the live. There we go. Let's see. Rolling Retro said, oh, wait, hold on. I missed Landon. Sorry, Landon. I missed that. What? Oh, I missed a few people. Guitar off the cuff. I found some crazy great stuff at a local Army surplus store. Yeah, I've heard people can find some good stuff there too. I don't know enough about it, but I've heard you can find some good stuff, like especially like military boots, like some of the Desert Storm style. Landon says, do y'all ever purchase the newest gen consoles to use? Speaking of which, hold
on. And now a word from our sponsor.
I have a feeling I know where he's going. He's gonna maybe talk about doing a Facebook like swap. So you do a Facebook trade. So you buy a latest generation console, and then you instead of selling it, you put it up for trade for old vintage games.
Right.
Yeah.
I have done that with a Switch, and so I think I maybe 1.5 times. I didn't double up on the value, but I 1.5 times.
Yeah.
So it was a good thing, and I'm gonna probably do it again. I've been focusing on other stuff right now, working on this game room, and it looks like you got a Series S.
Yeah, I picked it up today, and I'm actually doing a video on I'm trying to get back on the trade game because I used to do that. I've gotten some good stuff
is like a king at that.
Dude, did you see the Sculptor's Cut?
Yeah.
Steve, do you know about Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut on the 64? It's what is it, like $1,100 game, $1,200 game?
Yeah, no, I think it might be going more like 1,400. I think.
Goodness gracious! So Cody with a K, he took a PS5 and he traded it, and just one of the games was Sculptor's Cut.
Yeah.
Just one of the games, and then he got GameCube, DS, PS2,
Couple.
and I mean, yeah, and, dude, and just one game was worth $1,400.
Yeah.
Well, he said, Landon said here he got a $1,400 Pokemon score from an Xbox Series X. Yeah, so I've done it. The Xbox Series X is awesome. I did an X Series or Series X, and from one guy I got, let's see, I got what did I get? I got a 64. I got a bunch of 64 games. I don't remember what all I got. It was just a regular 64. Then I got a GameCube, and let's see. Oh, I also got NCAA 14. I got ESPN 2K8. What is it? 2K8. Is it College Hoops?
Is that on GameCube?
No, it's not. No, not that one. Not that one.
Oh,
it was the PS2 or maybe it's PS3. It was the last. It was the last basketball one, whichever one. Yeah, no, 2K8 is GameCube. My bad. No, I didn't get that. It was the 2K8 on the what is it? College Hoops. What is it on or is it NCAA basketball 2K8? It's one of them that's like $90. Anyways, so I got all that, and then he goes, and then I got a bunch of stuff from him. It was a lot of stuff. Then he goes, hey, and I gave you a little something extra here. I was so excited you're willing to give me this X Series X, and then he gave me Pokemon Coliseum.
Oh, geez, nice.
So I was like, dude, are you serious? He goes, yeah, man. I was like, no, man, I can't. And then the other guy I traded the Series X with, I got the Pikachu 64. I got a GameCube, a bunch of GameCube games. I mean, a bunch of games. I don't even remember what all I got. I didn't get any of the Pokemons. Then he had PS1, PS2. Nice. I mean, tons of stuff. And they both were probably around, I think one was like $1,200 worth of value and one was like $800. And from a Series X. So yeah, the newer gens, what Landon that you do good with, and that's why I just picked up this Series S. Yeah. I got it for $150, and it has like a controller and battery chargers and all the stuff. So
yeah. I picked up one from a pawn shop, and it ended up not working. So that was a disappointment.
Oh man, that sucks. Rolling Retro said we could buy a house with my girlfriend's Squishmallow collection. I think I've seen where she had some. I think you showed that on one of your videos.
Yeah, I remember that too.
Yeah. Let's see. Yo, ain't Mr. Maroney? Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, you haven't seen him in a while, have you, Elijah? Mascheroni. Yeah, we used to hang out all the time. He's gaming a little bit, trying to unwind. So let's see if I missed anything. Oh, Anthony's on. What's up, Anthony?
There you go.
Yeah, he said I started tested the N64. Yeah, he picked up N64 today, and have been playing GoldenEye with the kids for hours for sure. My kids love GoldenEye, by the way. Teaching them the fine art of slappers only. Yes, yes. Oh, dude, did you play GoldenEye, Steve?
I did.
Did you play slappers only ever?
No. That's a really good pinball machine too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I love that. Let's see. Random Battle Presents. What's up, man? We were in Vicksburg Saturday. I tried to email you. I don't know if you got it. But we were there for a toy swap. So, well, man, we've just been talking. Do you want to go ahead and tell the audience a little bit about what you do on your YouTube channel?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I kind of a newer channel, so I have a pretty small following so far, and what I've been doing mainly at this time is just been showing what I've been picking up. So yeah. You guys really want to kind of see what I picked up this last summer, you can certainly check me out. I did just do, I think I mentioned it earlier, I did a before and after of my game room. So it didn't, that's my latest video that I put up. And oddly enough, because I think it has the keywords of game room and 2023,
yes,
it's been a lot of watches, of course. But so I that kind of brought, I think, some subscribers, of course, and so that's kind of what the latest thing was. I'm going to be doing more in depth as far as my collection. Rolling Retro did a very good job of catching some of them. We of course needed to have
it was an hour long.
Yeah, and so I'm gonna probably do like a system, a video essentially, and then of course go through my likes and what I grew up with and that kind of thing. My most expensive. That's, I think, kind of what most people are looking for, is like, what kind of value do I have in my collection? Which, that's what we talked about in the Rolling Retro. It was mainly my most expensive stuff, and then kind of like one or two that I really enjoyed. But as far as like the NES, I grew up on the NES, so that's, I'm going to have a lot of kind of favorites in there. So that's where I'm kind of going for this winter, and I at some point would like to get a GoPro, which I want to, of course, kind of do the sales and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and
showing what while you're actually there. Yeah,
while I'm actually there, and also showing like how I get my finds and stuff like that. What I see and that kind of thing too. So
people love watching that. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's I essentially got into YouTube because of Rolling Retro, though, because he came and did my game room tour.
Yeah.
And I still had, I think it's like some complete unboxed systems that I hadn't, because they were stored away, and they were so I kind of was like, well, maybe I'll start my own channel and do a video of the rest of the complete unboxed systems that I have.
Yeah.
And so that's where I started it, and then kind of went from there. So of course every YouTuber has kind of their own thing that they do, but I'm still kind of trying to find.
Oh no! Oh, there it goes.
So
my computer keeps messing up. Sorry. So.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I'm like I said, I'm still pretty small, and so we'll kind of see where things go, and hopefully, like I said, I'll get that GoPro, which might help a little bit as far as
yeah. And I'm putting your link up here again, so if you guys can, man, go check them out and go subscribe, and then go to that Flipper dude, and then tell him to start a channel. So. Because he could have a whole channel with his crazy fine dude. He finds some crazy stuff. Just letting you know. Do you guys know what this is? The old Arcos MP3 video portables from way before the iPhone and iPad. You guys know about those? I remember the different MP3 players. Like I had a Zune. You guys remember Zune?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that. What Arcos? I've never heard of that one before.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that either. So
but
that's
maybe
pretty
that's why it's sought after, is because it's not very.
Yeah, that's pretty cool though. Dylan,
I still got my 160 gigabyte iPod.
Nice. Oh, for real. You know, if you can get those like in the original casing and everything, they are worth a lot of money.
That's I picked up a few of those on my garage sale, $7-10. I mean, they weren't in the original packaging, but just the system by itself. And
yeah.
I haven't sold them yet. I should probably get them up, but they go anywhere between like $40 and $50 sometimes.
Wow, that's crazy.
The bigger ones, the bigger gigabytes go for a lot more than that.
Yeah. The ones that I have found are the little nano ones. So they're really skinny. They look they're like half the size of a kind of cigarette box, I suppose.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, the nanos. We had a nano. We had all that stuff. Because I was in a band, so we had anything we could have with loads of music. So a lot easier than carrying a whole stack of CDs in the van with us while we were on tour. So we just plug that up and.
That's exactly why I bought the 160 gigabyte iPod, because it holds 75,000 songs.
Yeah.
Michael, that's really cool, man. That's I'm happy to hear that. I was actually just talking to our missionary just came home, and he was in our missionary Austin was in a band with us, with me and Masharoni here. And so that's good to hear, man. I was telling him you were in a church out there, so that's really cool. Napster branded MP3 player. Oh wow. Wow. Right after they went legal. That's awesome. Well, it's approaching 10. Steve, did you have any questions or anything you wanted to share about what's been going on?
No, not really, man. Everything sales have been good, man. Things are going good over here.
That's awesome. Well, am I allowed to share what's going on with me and you in February?
Sure. Yeah.
So Steve is offloading. He's starting to liquidate a lot of his stuff. And would that be the right word?
Yeah. Easier to liquidate it and start over after the move,
Yeah. So
that's a good reason.
Yeah.
So he's gonna meet up whenever he's traveling through, and I'm buying a whole bunch of his vintage shirts and some of his clothes and shoes. So pretty excited. I talked to my wife, and he's giving me a really good deal. So
yeah,
I couldn't resist.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you think of all of it, man.
Oh yeah, well, dude, just the pictures you showed me. When I saw those Affliction shirts, I was like, because I used to hunt for Affliction all the time, and I could never find it. And we always are picking up Harley stuff.
What about that Sick Boy jacket?
Oh yeah, that's sweet. I thought
that is crazy.
Cool. So that's very 90s stuff. So I'm pretty excited about it. Yeah, it is almost 10.
Your backlog pile.
Do what? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that's from your backlog pile, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he has a very large backlog pile. But the thing is like it's very organized too. I mean, at least for a death pile or whatever.
Yeah.
And when he told me that, I was like, really? It looks like it would be listed the way you got it. Because I have a spot. We're finally keeping up with it. But when I had it, it was just piled on top of each other. So, oh man, I still have, because what we do is we clean up everything, then we put it in inventory, and then we put it for pictures, and we'll just spend like a day or two of just taking nothing but pictures. Right. And then we keep it all on a card, and then we put it on a folder. And then as time goes by, we'll list stuff. I still have, man, I don't know how many listings I have to, because I'm doing 15 a day right now. I was doing 10. I'm up to 15. Nice. And I'm trying to get up to 20 because I'm trying to get my inventory to 1,000 just so I have that steady flow of sales.
Right.
And and right now, everything's moving so fast. So I'm trying to keep up. We have a whole bunch of stuff to take pictures of, but I'm doing a lot better about keeping up. And then once we get stuff from you, I don't know how we're going to keep up, because that's not the only thing. There's a store in Houston. I don't know if I told you this. There's a game store in Houston that if she hears, she's going to be like, what? No, she does. I talked to her about it, but I just don't know if I want to spend that much money. But they already said like 30 or 40% for the entire store.
What?
Yeah, and it's like probably 50. She's looking at me now. So it's a small, very small store, and it's like $15,000 worth of stuff. So I'd be getting it for like $5,000 or $6,000. So it's a lot of fillers, Oh, I guess Steve got his computer messed up or something, but so I probably won't be doing that, but I got a few big buys I'm about to get. So I'm trying to just load up on inventory, because I don't know. What about you? When do your sales slow down?
Well, for mine, they've, for what I have on my eBay, it's been kind of a slow fourth quarter, but I have also been working on other stuff, life, and working on my game room here. I have been which probably wasn't the smartest thing to do because it's fourth quarter and I should have been taking advantage of that. But so that's kind of on my own fault type of thing. Sure. But so yeah, that's, and then I have also been doing more video game swaps. So I haven't been putting my video games up on eBay because of that.
Oh, okay,
but I haven't been really making a whole lot of money off of those swaps. So I maybe kind of shot myself in the reverse that too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I've been there. I've definitely. Oh, Lucas Random Stuff. I haven't seen you in a while, man. How have you been? Good to have you. So, but yeah, what's funny is a lot of people say their sales. My best time of sales, well, of course, is around Q4 or especially the end of Q4, November and then December. It's just can't keep up. But January through April are my best. Yeah. I do really good January through April, and I've had a lot of people tell me they slow down. Then I slow down right at May. May start slowing down, but it's still pretty good. And then June through August, it's bad. At least last year was. It's horrible. It's like I'm not even selling 1% of my store. It seems like because you're supposed to be at least 1% of your store.
Well, most people are out traveling and
that's right.
And so they're not spending money on stuff. They're spending it on family vacations.
That's right. So I'm going to be kind of shifting gears to keep stuff for the summer. But anyways, it's 10 o'clock. Tell everybody I put up your link, but tell if there's anything you have, Zach, about that you want to share about your channel. Anything specific you want to share, or
I think
other ways to find you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, but I don't have actually I'm just personally, I don't have a Facebook page yet for Z Squared Gaming, but I am also on Instagram.
I'm about to load that up. So
yeah, and then certainly throw some comments under my videos, and I'd like to kind of get to know a little bit more people, type of thing, and that not only gets me involved with you guys, but it also helps the channel get bigger too. So.
For sure.
I think that's kind of where I'm going right now. I'm just trying to get just kind of bigger on my channel and hopefully get some good content out there. So, like I said, I'm going to be working on kind of a system at a time. So if you're interested in certain ones, and I think I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to start on the NES, and I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do like them by generation or if I'll do all Nintendo. I'm still kind of deciding on that, but I'm going to for sure start with the NES.
And I heard he's looking for an entire Neo Geo library, right? So for any of you that want to sell it to him, he's got it.
No, Neo Geo, I don't have a single game or even the system.
No, me either.
I did see one out in the wild. Boy, when was that? Like, that was before COVID. I did see one out in the wild, and the guy knew that it was worth something, but it was still under like what it was going for.
Wow.
And, it was at a flea market in Hinckley, Minnesota, which is it's kind of known for its casino up there. But the guy,
that's
I think
wild,
he had a second controller, the system, and then I think one or two games, and I think he had the system for $400, and then everything else was like $200 or $300, I think. And I was so wanting to pull my money together and buy it, but I just couldn't at the time. So it was kind of disappointing. And of course, after COVID, I think because of COVID, I think that flea market closed down. So I don't know what happened to it.
That's wild. I saw, and I'll finish up here. So I put up your Instagram. So if you guys check out his Instagram, and I'm putting up his YouTube one more time. Speaking of Neo Geo, when we were at Really Rad Weekend, I just shared it there. They had a Neo Geo console to play on, and the big carts, and they had the games, like the actual games, and they had Metal Slug, and you grabbed it. They let you grab it and put it in. And that's worth a lot. I think the game alone's like $5,000. I was like, they're letting you grab that? That's wild. Yeah. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate you, everybody coming in and chatting. Thanks for joining. Zach, I really appreciate you coming in. Steve, as always, I appreciate you coming and just bringing some energy with everybody. And so it's always fun. For the guys, for you two, whenever we end the stream, we'll be back here. So last time I think the person signed off, so don't sign off just yet because we'll talk and then close out. But for all of you, Oh, by the way, you talk about networking. Guitar Off the Cuff. There's another guy named Bert's Beats. So connect with him. And Bert's Beats is a genius at networking on YouTube. And so this is how Guitar Off the Cuff came in here. David S. That's how he came in here because I'm connected with him. And it's a very good networking group. And it's people. I mean, it's channels nothing like yours, right? There's cooking channels. There's cat channels. There's like wilderness channels. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff, but they're really big on. Yeah, I remember you, Lucas. Of course, Roblox. Of course, I remember you. So it's just been a while, man. I've been busy, but So if you get a chance to check them out, they're really. I'll connect you with Bert as well. Yeah, Bert's Beats. See, Rushmore Show knows he's really good. Rushmore Show is really good with connecting as well, and so I definitely encourage you to connect with Rushmore Show and Bert's Beats Guitar Off the Cuff as well. So thanks, man. I appreciate it. But anyways, guys, thanks everybody for coming on. It was a good time, and I will be on in 2 weeks. We'll do another live. I didn't put out a video tonight. Our missionary from Thailand just came back home. I drove him. So all day Monday, I was on the road, and then he's, back home. He sold everything he had. So he's just coming back, starting fresh. So I've been helping him a lot this week. Yes. I mean, they have nothing. Yeah. And so I helped him drive around and look for a car. And then we picked up the car Friday. And so, which is a joy for me. I'm just saying I haven't been able to do anything, right. Even with reselling, it's been hard to keep up. So I haven't even touched YouTube. I did like 2 shorts and it was still too much for me. So I'm back at it. I already have content I'm working on. So I'll be back to weekly videos and then every other week lives. And I'm probably going to continue doing every other week. So anyways, thanks guys. Thanks everybody for coming in. God bless you guys. And we will see you next time. So see you guys later.